Since the fourth part was a lot longer than all the other parts, let's make this part a bit shorter. The fifth chapter begins with Gaster visiting Geno sænz and telling him, yeah, Geno, you should just give up and join me in the void. Join me, because, not gonna lie, your plan won't work and this sænz is your last hope. And when you tell him your true plan, he will call you a madman. And because he is your last hope and would most likely once again reject your idea, you might as well just now give up and join me in the void and be forgotten by all of existence. So, in an act of defiance, Geno sænz sends Gaster away by teleporting sænz back to the save screen, proving that he has some fight left and doesn't plan on giving up, not yet. He also reveals to sænz that he has brought different versions of sænz from multiple timelines to this very moment, each time having the same conversation, each time trying to convince them to join his cause. It has to be noted that his first plan was to ask one of the sänzes to help him escape, but he noticed then that it was impossible for him to escape the save screen. But then his plan was altered by one of the many sänz who told Geno sænz, why even try? Nothing will change. And that sänz, as well as many other depressed sänz, convinced finally Geno sænz to change his plan. But what exactly is his cause? Geno explains that his plan is to end the timeline forever and end all of existence. He believes that's the only way to protect Papyrus, by stopping all of existence, since the human would just reset over and over again and experiment with the world over and over again and never gets bored, since every time they change something in this timeline, something new would happen. No killer sænz. Sænz is of course extremely shocked by this revelation and can't immediately answer how insane this idea sounds. So instead he asks Geno sænz one simple question: where is Frisk? And wants to see Frisk immediately since he can't see Frisk right now. Surprisingly, Geno sænz agrees and summons Frisk once again. And sænz immediately sees that Geno sænz has trapped Frisk in bones, so that they can't move around. Geno sænz describes this as Frisk's personal timeout, since they broke their trust. Sænz somewhat understands Geno's reasoning and wants to hear more about his plan, even though he is completely disgusted by it. Geno sænz explains that his plan is to bring Chara here, and since they can't die in the save stream, they can't heal either. So his plan is to hurt Chara so much that they fall into a coma, and then use their power to erase everything. Sænz argues that it isn't necessary since they have Frisk. If they find a way to get Chara from Frisk's body out, they could maybe give this power once again to Frisk. But Geno sænz is like, yeah, not gonna happen, buddy. They killed Papyrus first, they started this genocide first, and they reset it over and over again first. What can you say that they won't do that shit again? And sænz is like, yeah, but they regret it. And Geno sænz is like, bro, I don't care if they regret it. They still did that shit. They still are going to do that shit. And sænz is like, yeah, maybe that's true, but it's way better than ending all of existence. And Geno's like, you're trusting all murderer with the power of resets? Are you insane? Ending our timeline is everyone's hope. And sænz is like, Papyrus would never be okay with that, what you're doing. And Geno's like, oh nah, brother, you used Papyrus against me. Now you're gonna have a bad time. And sænz is like, yo bro, we both lost Papyrus today. Emotions are high. We're just on the edge. Please, I don't want to be your enemy. I don't want to fight you, brother. And then they started joke round to lighten up the mood. True story, bro. They escalated the situation by joking around. Anyways, the situation immediately got tense afterwards since sænz informs Geno, yeah brother, I'm not interested in this plan of ending all existence. And Geno was almost okay with this, but he remembers his conversation with Gaster, that once again he is conceived as a madman, and once again another hope is lost by time, and Geno can do the same thing over over and over again with another sænz from another timeline. So he breaks down and glitches out and thinks to himself, man, sænz, you don't know what you're talking about. If you knew what I knew, if you experienced everything I experienced, you would think the same way. And so he touched sænz and gave sænz all of his memories, all of the memories of all the different sänzes from different timelines, all the bad runs that Chara and Frisk did. And at first it seems like would work. Sænz is on the ground and screaming in agony, experience all the worst runs the human did. But then sænz stands up and states, brother, I didn't hear no bell, because everything you throw at me will not make me want to end all of existence and in turn hurt Papyrus. So you're going to have to try a little harder than that, buddy. So I have two options for you now. Either you make me forget it and you start all over again, or we try things my way. And Geno's like, sorry, these aren't the only option. See you again soon. Maybe you just need more time to think about it. And then Geno teleports sænz back into his timeline with all his memory intact, and he lives the same day over and over again. And so ends part 5. And the next part will be once again a tear breaker. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I will be now watching Game of Thrones.